Donald Trump is officially back as the 47th President of the United States, marking a historic return to the White House. In his inauguration speech, he renewed his America First agenda, focusing on trade, immigration, and foreign policy. This raises big questions for U.S. allies, including the Philippines, which relies on strong trade, investment, and security ties with Washington. What can we expect from Trump's second term? Will his policies impact Philippine exports, BPO jobs, and the millions of Filipinos working in the United States? Joining us now from Washington, D.C. via Zoom to help us break it all down is the Philippine Ambassador to the U.S., Babe Romualdez. Ambassador Romualdez, thank you for being here with us.
Hey, thank you very much, Mikey. How are you?
Okay, I'm good. Good to have you, especially after the inauguration. We want to get your thoughts on that. You were present at that event. What were your initial thoughts following Trump's speech?
Well, obviously, it was, I would say, not revealing in the sense that he's been talking about what he was going to do to make America great again. But what's important is that he really was very emphatic about the issues why he won, which is basically the immigration policy, and also to make the United States much stronger and respected all over the world by now telling those that are taking advantage of the United States, as he says, will be dealt with in terms of higher tariffs and so forth and so on. But generally, I think the euphoric feeling in Washington, D.C., because of the number of his followers that have come to Washington, clearly shows that the president enjoys a very, very high acceptance, including, I'm told, by some of the Democrats who did not vote for him.
Yeah, you touched on that. Can you expound on that, Ambassador Romualdez? The mood on the ground. Republicans control both chambers of Congress, and they want to do a lot, but they're also coming into odds with the Democrats. What is the mood on Capitol Hill right now, given all of this?
Well, like I said, the mood is because of the victory of President Trump. He won the electoral votes and the popular vote. There's a lot of talk about cooperation in doing some of the things that he says he wanted to do, especially in relation to the economy of the United States. So I think that he probably will enjoy very strong support from both parties, or at least the majority, which is the Republican Party in both the U.S. Congress and the Senate, for a couple of years ahead, because of until the midterm elections, I suppose, which is the normal cycle. But generally, as I said, he will have that kind of euphoric situation for the next couple of months, maybe years ahead, until the midterm elections.
Mm-hmm. Now, Ambassador Romualdez, in his speech, he reaffirmed his America First emphasis. Given that, how do you think that Philippine-U.S. relations will evolve under Trump 2.0?
Well, as I've said, we enjoy bipartisan support from both the U.S. Congress and the U.S. Senate. And so we will probably have a strong relationship, a continuing strong relationship with the United States under the Trump administration. We also have to remember that it was during the time of President Trump, when then Secretary of State Mike Pompeo, who said that they had an ironclad commitment to the Mutual Defense Treaty. So as far as our defense arrangements are with the United States, it will remain as it is. It is really the economic part where we will have some challenges, but the way I see it, as spelled out by Secretary Recto, we don't have a very large imbalance of trade with the United States. In fact, there are going to be opportunities that will be open for us because of the changes that will take place during the Trump administration as far as China is concerned.
Yeah, you mentioned Finance Chief Ralph Recto. He is actually very optimistic. He said that the Philippines has little to worry about when it comes to Trump's new trade policies. We may even benefit as companies look for other manufacturing hubs. What's your take on this? Are you as optimistic?
Yes, I am quite optimistic. In fact, I always see everything. There's always a silver lining in every cloud, as I always say. And the silver lining here is the fact that the policies that will be put in place by the Trump administration in terms of dealing with countries that there is a trade imbalance will tilt towards countries that they have a strong relationship and that is important for the security of the United States. And we play a major role in that one as far as the Indo-Pacific region is concerned. And also, we have to remember that the ASEAN region is one of the fastest growing economy in the world. And I think many of Trump's incoming economic managers are going to see that as an opportunity. And again, I'd like to think that because of the relationship that we have with the United States, we probably will be ahead or will be given more opportunities up ahead.
Yeah, the U.S. is one of the Philippines' largest export markets, particularly in electronics and agricultural products. For people worried about this, what would you like to say to them? For businesses worried about all of these tariffs, what would you like to say to them, Ambassador Romualdez?
Well, as I said, the Philippines is not in the list of those that will be targeted for higher tariffs because precisely our trade imbalance is not anything close to what they have with China and other countries like Canada and Mexico and probably some other Asian countries. So again, that will it will open us for more opportunities to be able to work together. And as I've always said, it's a quid pro quo. In other words, it's what's good for us will be also good for the United States. There will be a lot of these types of businesses that we will be able to develop in terms of being able to be a supplier to the United States. For instance, Boeing, for instance, is doing some manufacturing in the Philippines for some parts which we export to the United States and which will benefit, of course, their biggest aircraft manufacturer.
Okay, on another front, there's the immigration front. Millions of Filipinos work in the United States, particularly in healthcare, in tech, and in other essential industries. What's your outlook for Filipino professionals under Trump 2.0? And then, in relation to that, do you think that they're going to be much stricter with processing visas for work and for travel for the U.S.?
And I think for people visiting the United States, it's pretty much the same. I think that, they go through a certain number of categories that will allow Filipino tourists to come to the United States, which have been the requirements of having more ties with your country and so forth and so on. Now, for workers, obviously they're going to be looking at categories. Right now, there is a debate, well, not really a debate, but the H-1B visas, which is really important for the technology sector of the United States. I think you must have heard about Elon Musk saying that they will need H-1B visas to be issued because they have a lot of talent coming from the Asian region and also including the Philippines. So I think that will probably, I don't think it's going to be, it will change, but perhaps they will just have some other rules or categories that they will be able to target in terms of bringing more jobs here in the United States rather than having other workers coming from other countries.
Yeah, in terms of the jobs, and it touches on the whole competitiveness of the Philippines. ASEAN nations are continuously lobbying for, they're competing for U.S. investments. What can the Philippines do to make sure that we stay on top of the radar in this regard?
Well, we're working together with our economic managers, so Secretary Recto and Secretary Frederick Go. I think that they're formulating a strategy to be able to lure more of the investments, not only from the United States, but from other countries as well. You know, it's been the policy of President Marcos that we want to approach as many countries as possible, not only in our defense posture, having more alliances, a multilateral approach, but also in the economic front. We certainly would like to work with other countries where we can be a part of the supply line. So that's one area, and some of the things that we can do in the Philippines is very much in demand. For instance, in other countries like in Europe. But of course, as of now, human resources still our number one export. But hopefully, we will be able to bring in more investments so that, as the president said, that the Filipino will have a choice whether to work abroad or stay at home.
Yeah, that's what we want, to give Filipinos that choice to work abroad or to stay at home. In closing, Ambassador Romualdez, every new administration brings its own set of challenges and opportunities. What would you say are the biggest challenges and the biggest opportunities with this new administration in the U.S.?
Well, the biggest opportunity, as I said, is going to be the fact that the Trump administration is now looking at countries that they see or that he sees is taking advantage of the United States, vis-a-vis in terms of trade. Or even countries that, in his view, is not really helping in the national security strategy of the United States. We certainly don't fall into any one of those negative categories in terms of we are a close ally of the United States. We are a country that follows the rule of law, and we do have a system that is similar to the United States, free enterprise. And at the same time, there are things that we can do that other countries may not be able to do. For instance, the BPO industry, we were very much on the top list of those that can actually take care of that sector, and I don't think that that's going to be touched by the United States or the Trump administration, because it's a growing market in the Philippines because we're an English-speaking country. I know of some businessmen that are expanding their operation in the Philippines. They're also in the manufacturing sector for alternative energy, for instance. There's kinetic energy. I know that one of our local businessmen was able to put together a situation where they were manufacturing this, what they call kinetic energy, and exporting it to the United States. And now they're going to be manufacturing also in the United States to supply that particular product and to other countries as well. So there'll be a lot of these types of industries or companies that will be able to look at the Philippines as a great opportunity for investment.
Yeah, you hit it on the nail, Ambassador Romualdez. There are a lot of things that Filipinos can do that others cannot, and we are a growing market. So thank you for your time this morning, and thank you for talking to us post-inauguration. We'd love to check back with you in the coming weeks or months as this new administration takes shape. Thank you, Ambassador Babe Romualdez.
Thank you. Thank you, Mikey. Thank you.